toys and TV shows, comics and collecting and superheroes. There's no end to the useless stuff they know. But don't call them geeks, they're just regular Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
Last week was a month away from The Rise of Skywalker. Today is a month away from Christmas, if you celebrate that. So, I gotta tell you, people, as you're listening to this, it's the day after Thanksgiving. There are not a lot of shopping days. This was it's a late Thanksgiving.
Sneaks up on you.
Just be aware.
So I know it was even the title of last week's episode, and I know you guys are both on lockdown on Rise of Skywalker stuff. I am trying to be good.
Technically, I'm on blackout. Dave is on lockdown.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm on lockdown.
Blackout is actually when you obscure information from coming in. A lockdown is just basically when you're hiding. But anyways, that's fine.
I'm hiding.
Well, Dave is hiding. But here's the thing. You know, and I said it last week, I'll watch trailers, I'll watch TV commercials. Today, they released like a 60-second clip from the movie online on social media. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a continuous scene, so I was able to navigate away from it.
I came across 8 new photos.
But if we're this far out and they're released, they're going to make it impossible to avoid stuff.
And that's why I've been...
gotta be strong.
And that's why I've been on total blackout since The Force Awakens.
Well, I only wish I was. Where's Darwin? Is he seeing this?
There was a scene that they released today, and I did my best not to see it. I only saw.
There's photos I didn't look at, or all kinds of stuff.
And the headlines don't help, because it's one thing to say I'm not going to play the video, but they're like putting headlines in these posts that it's like even if you just read the headline, it gives little things away, and I'm like, just stop.
Is this like a major campaign to say this one really doesn't suck? I mean,
I think so.
What is this? Because I feel like there's more shit out there than ahead of.
They were going to do this no matter what, and they have to.
They think so?
Ignored Solo, and they just got to get this thing out.
But they have done this with other movies, even with Marvel movies.
Is this a reaction to people ignoring Solo and people pushing back on the
They did this with Force Awakens. They did this with the...
They've done it with some of the Marvel movies, too, where they release like a scene here or a scene there. I don't
remember it being like this.
There's all kinds of partnerships. They're full-size planes wrapped in Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, Barry, I think you just nailed it. This is Marvel-style advertising applied to Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well, so you spend another $300 million. You gotta. And then in this day and age, that's not enough money. Although, hopefully, Bloomberg will spend that much money to win the presidency.
Yeah. You know, the weird thing, though, is like, so they're posting it on their social media. I follow them already. I'm a guaranteed ticket. You're not selling me this movie by posting a scene on social. I've already bought my tickets. Like,
well, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah, but Barry, the whole point of social media is like engagement. And people pushing it.
Yeah.
So
I guess
the idea is
feed that to the other sites.
You're not going to be. You're going to be like, yeah, so what? But a certain percentage, it's like 3 to 6%, are going to forward something.
But I think that if you post it on the EWs and the Entertainment Weeklies and all those things, then it spreads virally. Posting it on the Star Wars thing, you don't follow Star Wars unless you care about Star Wars.
What are they supposed to put on there? Something obscure?
I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't need them
He's
posting...
down on Star Wars. What's up
3 weeks out, I don't need them posting scenes of the freaking movie.
Dave, can I just go on record saying I'm tired of Barry bitching about Star Wars? I am.
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Let me ask you a better question. Barry, are you drinking out of a prosthetic arm?
This is a cup. It's a plastic cup.
It just happens to be the color of your flesh.
It's not. It's actually pink. You can't really see in this light.
Wait, put it where it was. Todd, can you screenshot that? like it looks. Hold it down. So hold it down.
Yep.
Up before you see the bottom. I don't want to see the bottom. That looks like put it right there. There you go. That's a prosthetic arm he's drinking that out of.
It truly looks that way. It was too late. Hold on. There we go. One more time. Hold it, Barry. One more time.
Jesus Christ! Take
Hold
the
it where
picture.
There we go.
Hold
Okay.
it. There you go.
Got it.
I'm sporting
Anyway, okay. Well, let's.
really hand shot first pin.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I have.
Yeah.
I made them in 2 colors. Wait.
As Dave leaves the table to go get his pins.
And there's a couple of you out there who have said their magic words, so you'll get some. I made them in. You can't see them in.
Ooh, I
in
like
the black
that.
and gold.
I like the black and gold.
Yeah, this one I think I have to have a deeper engrave. I'm sorry that you people aren't seeing this, but the engrave is could be a little deeper on this one. Yeah, it's cool. This is cool stuff. All right, well, we're in the middle of random, so let's talk random. Barry, one of you go. I don't even know if you have this one, but
I've got one
may,
thing.
so
That's all I have.
I've got something.
So I guess J.J. Abrams on Good Morning America, and this is again going back to Star Wars. He didn't say which actor. He said he wanted to, but he wasn't going to out them on national television. One of the actors in the movie left their script under the bed in a hotel room, where it was stolen, given to somebody who put it on eBay. So somebody from Disney, I guess they have people whose job it is to scour eBay looking for this kind of stuff, found it and was able to get it back before it was sold to anybody.
Stunned.
But an actual script apparently was out in the wild.
Stunned.
What would that do though? What would that accomplish? He's going on Good Morning America because guess what? Disney owns Good Morning America.
Exactly. And who sold that script without making a whole bunch of or making a digital copy at the very least?
You can't. They're on
red.
uncopyable paper. He even says that in the clip. That
Are they on unphotographical paper?
Wait,
Yeah.
Stop the clock. When was he on Good Morning America?
Doesn't say when, but I think this was very recent.
I
This
wish I knew
article
that.
was
It's
posted
literally
today.
up the block from me now. I would have gone to see him if
Oh.
I just walk in.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
think it was. It may have been today, or if it wasn't today, it was very recently.
It's in the news today, so it was probably today.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Interesting, though. I mean, you wonder, did Disney just go back with lawyer up and say, "Give us our script back," or did they buy it from the guy? Like what? You wonder how they got it back, but they got it back. So
I also find
And
it
then-
really interesting that someone had a complete script, which runs counter to what they've been saying.
But which also means it had to be one of the main actors. They didn't just give this to Stormtrooper number 13. This was probably one of the core cast.
Or Mike Quinn, because he didn't know what happened, because he would have told us.
Yeah, he might
right.
have told us.
That's right. Okay.
Interesting. Todd, what do you got?
Okay. So about every 15 minutes, they announce somebody else that's going to be in the next Batman movie. John Turturro was the most recent one, who's going to be Carmine Falcone. I think I know what this movie's going to be. I've been thinking about this, and if you got a movie that's got the Riddler, Catwoman, Penguin, Commissioner Gordon, Batman, obviously Alfred. Dave, what are they remaking?
They're making the 66 Batman
They are
movie.
remaking the 66 Batman movie. Okay,
Can't
so
imagine.
barring
God, let's
that,
hope not.
I think
Who's
they're
gonna be
making
Robin?
I think they're making The Long Halloween, which is my second favorite Batman story, and
I love that comic.
it's got a gajillion villains in it. It's
It's a great
basically got
comic.
everybody in it, and they're more like cameo roles. So
Oh.
they could do this. They could actually cast like a whole bunch of people in this and not have it be like Batman Forever. So
I know. Those are that's the problem. They stack them full.
yeah. So or Spider-Man 3 or any of the other movies that they
Ugh.
cram too many villains in. But that would be. They also have said this is going to be a quote unquote detective story, which The Long Halloween is. So
That's interesting.
We'll
Is
see.
he young in it? Is it young Batman?
yeah, it's at the very beginning of his career, so it fits.
Yeah.
So I would be really excited for that. Dave, what do you got?
I have just a quick discussion topic that I brought up to Barry the other day, but we got distracted. But I have not really seen too much on all this new VR stuff. Have you guys seen, like, there's a couple, I think, interesting VR games out there, and I'm totally unaware of what the deal is until I did a little research. Are you guys seeing what's going on with this VR stuff?
Of from an ancillary standpoint, I've got a friend who's a VR developer, so I see a lot of the stuff that he sort of posts and stuff. But yeah, I've not gone anywhere near any of it for myself.
They had some stuff on Tested. So there's this, I think it's called Beat Saber. It's almost like one of those dance things, but it's with lightsabers and you have to deflect things. And now there's this thing called Pistol Whip that's sort of like a John Wick. And everyone's saying that the little things I've read, the VR is much improved over what was like a couple years ago, where you get dizzy and sick, and it's much more. And
yeah, they've made a lot of they've made a lot of headway on that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I didn't realize that. So I guess there's one of the headsets. There's headsets that hook up to a PC, and there's headsets that are independent. They're not cheap. They're $300-$400.
Yeah,
I thought they were cheaper than that, because I'm like, I never liked video games because I am not coordinated with all those stupid buttons. But if you could sort of just act it out, I would be much more interested in something like that. Some of these games sound pretty cool.
There are still buttons and gestures and things like that. It's still, I mean, I've seen some of the good ones demonstrated. Eric is big into this stuff. And you've still got a controller that's in your hand. With multiple buttons on it.
One button on it, at least from what I was seeing.
So, but yeah, I think, if you think of it from like a Star Wars standpoint, you're still looking through a slit, one way or another. But playing as,
it says it's 100 degrees.
Well, it's much better, but you still get a restricted field of view. But playing as the Mandalorian or a Stormtrooper or something like that, where you're in a helmet to begin with, it could be very immersive. So,
Yeah.
The one that I've ever demoed that felt really right was actually an Iron Man flight simulator. And that was cool because you were looking, you had like porthole vision, but it was like Iron Man would see. And you saw exactly how much he did. And then there was like little peripheral things, around that were giving you information and stuff. And that was really cool. So,
there's a Star Wars one that's either out or coming out called Vader Immortal, which is supposed to be really, really good.
And people are also saying, like, these things are full-blown workouts because it's not just standing or sitting there.
These are full-blown workouts to people who play games a lot. Okay, that's a different standard. It's not 45 minutes.
But like Adam Savage had this saber one, and he built like heavy metal sabers, and he's like saying that it's a total arm workout because
I was listening to that on Tested on their podcast, and they were saying, or that whatever it's called, Untitled. Still Entitled. They were saying that that and the crouching from that pistol whip game. He said that like his calves and thighs were burning after playing it for an hour.
Again, because they got off the couch. Okay, I'm sorry. Well, whatever.
I'm just interested because I've never really liked the sitting down there pushing a button.
I totally agree.
So
I'm the same. I the other day I did some drinking and played Star Wars Battlefront, and actually I'm much better when I'm drunk. No probe droids were safe from me, but it's still a lot of like, I mean, I basically figure out how to do 3 things and then just keep doing them over and over again.
Yeah,
when there's 15 or 20 choices.
I think maybe a year from now. I mean, these things entry level is still $400 to $500 because that's what.
Because you got to get the headset. In a lot of cases, you've got to get like the extra battery packs and cables, and there's a bunch to it. And then
there's an entry. I mean, it's not. If it was $200, I'd be like, all right, jump in and try.
And the other problem is it's very much still in flux. So
I'd be interested to see in the next year or so what goes on.
Yep.
Anyway, just thought I'd ask that. That's my random. Any other random?
Just what I texted you guys today that. We've talked a lot about this Harrison Ford send-in thing for getting autographs. I finally did ship my poster off today. And I texted you, but I thought I would just elaborate a little bit. So I looked up, I Googled the closest FedEx place to my house, and I got an address, and I drove there, and I couldn't find it. I'm like, where the hell is it? I'm looking for a FedEx sign in front of a building, and I couldn't find it. So I pulled into the strip mall where it was supposed to be, and I called the phone number. And in there was a pizza place and like a beer distributor. I call the phone number, and the guy answers the phone, Beer and Smokes. And I said, is this FedEx? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, which storefront are you in? He goes, in the Beer and Smokes shop. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm not sending this poster through your company. So I then looked up, where's the nearest actual FedEx location? And I drove all the way there, and I was able to give it to somebody in a FedEx uniform and get a FedEx receipt and do the whole thing. I'm like, I'm not mailing this from a beer distributor. It's just not happening.
This episode not brought to you by Beer and Smokes.
Yeah, by FedEx. Now, like I said to you guys earlier, everybody out there listening, please just say a little prayer that my poster gets where it needs to get, undamaged. It should be there Friday. So, even with the holiday. So, more to come.
It's here. I knew you said that, and I have friends who work at FedEx.
Yeah.
And I said, I really need this package taken care of. It's on a truck. If you look in your inbox in your text, the best driver I know or they know is taking care of your package.
Oh, good.
So we have a story. FedEx truck hit by train in Utah. Nice.
Yes. So if you take a look at that, it's in the best hands that I know.
Oh, well.
I had them put it on the special truck.
I hopefully. Oh, my God, that's horrible.
I was actually Googling for the clip of Tom Hanks going down in the plane.
Yeah.
But that's better.
So there's the truck with your package. Oh,
yep,
Barry,
so sorry.
No, I wanted Tom Hanks from Survivor going down in the FedEx plane. That would have been better. But
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the positive thoughts, guys.
Okay, so
it was nerve-wracking for me to let that thing out of my hands, and now you've made me feel so much better.
Yeah, my positive thought is Fanboy Collectibles. You know what? It's the holiday season. You've got all those holidays. You've got Festivus and Kwanzaa and all
Life
that
Day.
stuff coming up. Life Day. Happy Life Day, everybody. So fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out. Up for pre-order. Hot Toys Kylo Ren. I don't know if you guys looked at the pictures. With removable head. Interesting. I don't know.
That is interesting because the last one didn't, right?
No.
He's saying removable head as if he gets his head cut off.
Yeah, no, there's a bloody stump.
Yeah. No, anyway, that's a joke. Hot Toys, there's a Mandalorian bus. Speaking of the Mandalorian, I know someone out there definitely needs a 30-inch Rancor. And they've got that too. That's
30-inch. I was going to say that thing is enormous.
That's awesome.
It's not the size of your Rancor. It's what you do with it.
Exactly. But Sideshow and Hot Toys and Kotobuki and Pops and all kinds of stuff. Check them out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. It's perfect for the holidays. I'm sure they have gift certificates. Tell them the Regular Joe sent you. Okay, we're doing this every week, whether you like it or not. The Mandalorian Minute. Episode 3 was just on, so there's spoilers. If you haven't seen it, go spend your $6.99 and some or whatever,
and watch.
Don't buy
the best thing ever.
Your giant Frappuccino once a month, and you can afford this.
You can also get a free episode and get caught up. You can get a free month and get caught up. So.
Yeah, but
listen to this show.
What I'm saying is, you can get a free month and catch up to what we're saying at this point.
Like we always said with CBS All Access, it's worth it for Discovery. This is even more worth it.
Oh my God, there's so much
Mandalorian.
stuff on here.
So good.
Anyway, that's not our problem. That's your problem. So
just watch
it. There's a lot going. They are 30-minute episodes, but
Well, this one was a little
There
bit
was a lot
longer. This
going
one was
on.
closer to 40.
No,
Okay.
this was the second
But-
longest episode after the first one. But so
I think there's definitely Easter eggs in everything. I think it's interesting because I think it's one of the biggest Easter eggs, but to real hardcore fans. You know, that the ice cream maker.
oh my god, I saw the ice cream maker. I think I screamed when I saw the ice cream maker. It was like,
I have friends at work who were watching this, who were Star Wars fans. They don't even know what that. I mean, I think you literally have to have gone to a convention to really appreciate.
Well, one of the things to
what
keep in
that's all
mind,
about.
I'm pretty sure that in the VHS and 4:3 aspect ratio versions of Empire Strikes Back, you don't even see that guy. So he was kind of like only rediscovered by people when they finally got the widescreen versions.
For those who are uninitiated, one of you needs to explain the context of the ice cream maker.
All right, so there's a character running away after all hell breaks loose on Cloud City, and they start
Lando says evacuate the city, basically.
You see a very quick shot of a guy in an orange jumpsuit running, holding a big white thing, which turns out is an actual ice cream maker from the 70s.
Very clearly an ice cream maker. Yes.
That was the actual thing that they made this prop out of. And he has literally seconds, 2 or 3 seconds at most.
2.5,
that much.
maybe 1.5, 2 seconds. They have given
On
this
screen.
character a name. His name is Wilro Hood. They've made an action
Now, who
figure
gave
of this
him
guy.
that? Was it
Probably Hasbro when they made the action figure.
It's actually they did it retroactively. It's
like a lot of like Hammerhead and stuff.
Yeah.
right.
So this guy, who for whatever reason, cosplayers. I mean, I guess this is the power of cosplay. Picked up on this, and there was people who started dressing up as this guy. Orange jumpsuit. I guess he's got a mustache.
He's also got a mustache that may or may not be authentic. So
It looks fake.
People put fake mustaches on. People of all shapes and sizes, and put basically a jumpsuit, a mustache, and run with an ice cream maker. And
Well, and
this is an
it's
actual
got a name. It's the Running of the
ice cream
Hoods.
it's the running
It's
of the
called
hood.
the guy's name is Wilro Hood. So look up Wilro Hood or the Running of the
Running
Hoods.
of the hood. This year's
And we've
at this
seen it at every
year's
celebration.
They had 115 people who dressed up that way.
You looked up that number?
I watched the video of it yesterday. There was an interview with the
Because
guy who
when we saw
organized it.
Live, I literally thought these guys were going around in a circle. And,
No,
and
that's the thing.
It wasn't. It was that many guys.
I did too, Dave. And then again, you guys had explained it in advance, and I saw it, and I was like, and then I was just watching, and I never saw the same person twice. But there's actually a really good video on YouTube. Someone actually dressed up as the ice cream maker itself and
Yes.
led the parade.
Yeah, this is the guy.
But there was an interview with the guy who organized it, and he said there were 115 people that were in costume.
Now, they
So-
don't all
that's
have
crazy.
the real deal ice cream maker because I think
No,
they've
some of
become
them were
very
basically
hard.
tubs and stuff, but
Yeah,
it was
they've
it was
become
still
very
great.
hard to get, from what I understand.
So anyway, they used that as a safety deposit box kind of thing
Like a
when they
little
paid
vault,
the
yeah.
Mandalorian his best car, which is awesome. I don't think there's anything more obscure yet for the real fans so known.
And
It's
they're
just awesome.
seriously committed to this. Okay, I mean there are things like this that if you go back and I watched each of these episodes at least 3 times, and once without the sound, so I can just see everything that's just kind of there. And on my second pass, I noticed in an alleyway he walks by the pole that was inside of the trash compactor that they used. You know, the very distinctive pole that they used inside the trash compactor. It's great. It's great.
We've been watching it as a 4 to the 5 of us in my family have been watching it together, and we kind of have a rule that while we're watching it, everybody's got to be quiet. But
Yes,
I found it impossible when I saw that poll to not go, "Holy crap, that's the poll from the trash compactor."
It's like
I did the same thing with the ice cream maker. I
Yep.
paused it and I had to explain. I was so excited. I had to explain what was going on.
so. Let's actually
doing
talk
it
about
right.
the episode.
They are totally doing it right. And I remember when we saw that clip at Celebration and we saw the little Jabba's Palace eye thing come out of the wall, we were like, oh, God, I hope they don't overdo it. But they're not overdoing it. It's like just the right amount. They're not overdoing
it. And that's the thing. It's like it feels like common universe, but not like everything is the same. So, yeah. I think they're hitting it really well. This was the best episode so far.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know we try not to spoil it too much, but, like, just when you think all hope is lost, I didn't see it coming. What happened at the end? I thought it was great.
I was thinking, like, one of the multiple characters that we know are going to be in the show that we haven't been introduced yet, we're going to show up, and I thought, oh, that's going to be kind of a cheat because we don't really know these people or something like this. Somebody had to save him. And for it to happen exactly the way that we saw this, I mean, they made these real actors look just like the characters in the Mandalorians in the Clone Wars. The way that they came down, the way they hovered, the way they fought from the air, that's where we've seen the most of these characters, the Mandalorians, and it was perfect. And oh God, it was awesome.
And just to see our Mandalorian have jetpack envy was pretty funny. He's like, I gotta get one of those.
Yeah.
It was really.
The guy with basically flying like Iron Man, saluting.
Oh, Iron Man, but also Rocketeer. That was totally the Rocketeer thing.
Yeah, that was Rocketeer. Yeah.
And just terrific. It's so good. You know, the thing I'd always assumed, and I had a conversation with Sean about this a couple days ago, that, I mean, we know of 2 or at least 1.5 Mandalorians that are bounty hunters. I assumed the others were basically mercenaries, okay? Which I think in their regard is the line between him and them, but they stood up for him. They still, he's one of theirs, and they showed up when he was against the wall, and I think that's fantastic. That's exactly the way this culture is. It's exactly what it would be.
So are they all bounty hunters, or they're all?
No, I don't think. I think they're.
I don't think they would have saved them if they were all bounty hunters.
No, I don't think so. I think they're. I think he's kind of a lone wolf, and I think they're kind of a mercenary cadre.
They've definitely
weapons guy. They were pretty seriously armed to be, and I think they trade on the reputation that they've got. And again, there may be something to it, but they're also not frequently seen. They kind of keep their, own counsel, and
they're peppering us with those little bits and pieces of sort of this culture, whether it's through what they're showing us or whether it's from the other characters talking about it, but. They clearly have like a moral code, and they have that whole "this is the way."
Right. Yeah.
And so it may not be the same moral code that everybody follows, and it might not be as moral as others' codes are, but clearly they have beliefs and they follow them, and
right.
And they weren't happy with the fact that he was doing any business for these former Imperials, because that wasn't the way.
So that may be more of the reason why they jumped on helping him, as opposed to he's a guy who really broke his own code. He broke the bounty hunter code by,
But that's not their code. But he also made a very large donation to their, their kind of relief fund thing. It's the big guy, the kind of heavy weapons guy, has a name very similar to the Mandalorian that Jon Favreau voiced from the
pre-Vizsla.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So that character was killed. And I don't think it was based on the credits, but it sounded like Jon Favreau doing the voice.
Right, but it had to that character was killed in the Clone Wars, but it could be a relative.
No, I'm not suggesting that it was the same character. I'm just saying it sounded like Favreau's voice.
Yes, it sounded like no. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it sounded like Favreau's voice, and he has the same last name. So,
and Favreau says that he isn't playing any of the roles on the show, but Dave Filoni said that about Rebels, and he was doing voices on Rebels. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was Favreau.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you want to get into your theory, Todd? Or
Sure.
do you
So
wanna-
this is something, and this is, I was texting you guys earlier today again. On my third pass, I'm watching this, and it occurred to me that we're seeing his childhood backstory in dribs and drabs, and they keep picking it up. He's obviously, PTSD over this, but they're showing him fleeing and stuff, and we get to the point here where his parents put him into that well or enclosure of some kind, and they're apparently killed, and then it's pulled open, and there's a battle droid there, and so something has to save him, and something or someone has to save him at this point. I found that a really interesting point to stop. Now, it could be other Mandalorians, but it could also be a Jedi, or
It could be almost anything, but
could be almost anything. But I'm wondering if this is where they're tying into why he crosses the line to save.
I was wondering.
Yoda.
I said maybe Yoda because when you pointed that out, okay, there's a kid or a little being. There's something that clicked in his head. I don't feel like it's only because it was a baby.
No, I don't think so either. And I think, like I said, if he's saved
could be,
by Jedi one way or another, there's ways that he could have been exposed to Yoda.
Yeah.
But it almost doesn't matter who saved him. Potentially, it almost doesn't matter who saved him. Just the fact that this was a defenseless child that needed to be saved, and somebody or something saved him, and now he was going to return that favor.
That could be true too, but
Yeah, I've thought about
We might
that
be
too.
reading too
And
much
that's
into it.
But I'm wondering whether, like I said, this is whether they're
That-
setting up something here.
is but that droid is very specifically prequel droid.
Yeah, they used a super battle droid so that we would know exactly where in the timeline that was, and that was during the Clone Wars.
Yes.
So, I mean, and that's right.
Which
where
makes sense,
Yoda
because
was all over the place.
I think
a
I
little bit.
said on the last episode this was 3 years post Jedi. It's 6 years post Jedi, according to StarWars.com.
Yeah.
So that, Clone Wars would have been 30 something years before that. So, this guy's in
the
his
Clone
30s.
Wars were, Revenge of the Sith ended the Clone Wars basically.
Yep. Yeah, so
So
25,
that's-
30 years have passed since then.
The timing works. I think,
20
like I said, I think there's
Yeah.
something there. I think
Yeah.
it's like I said, that's going to have some significance. Yeah, they're doing a great job building this. They're putting the pieces together really nicely. It doesn't feel forced in any way. No pun intended. I'm super pleased with it.
It's
Yeah,
awesome.
Interesting. Cool. Well, let us
Absolutely
know what you
awesome.
think if you're watching it. Let's go to WonderCon. Barry and I went to WonderCon this Sunday.
It was
And it was
exactly
almost
what
like
it always is. It's
being
it's
transported back into 1979 convention. It's
Yeah,
small,
it's
very
just like that.
dealer-centric. It was interesting.
And the guests that are there's never more than 4 people on their line at any given time, and yeah, I mean it is like going to an old show, like in the basement of Best Western or something, except it's at the top floor of a disgusting casino in Jamaica, Queens. But I had a good time. I always have a good time. I mean, we
That
did
casino provides lots of taxes from a commercial I just saw tonight.
yeah. Apparently, that's what they're good for. But hey, look, it must be doing well because they're doing a lot of construction there. They're building more, making it bigger.
Oh, it's doing. I'm sure it's doing. There's a lot of degenerates out there. Not
So-
that anyone who gambles is.
so
is
last
As my
year
son
we
Joey
saw-
asked me, well, hang on, Todd. So we got there at 10:15 in the morning, and my son Joey saw all the people, and he's like, "Dad, who's going to casinos at 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday?"
yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, well, there you go, Joe. Life lesson."
Yeah. So last year they had a collection of cast from Blade Runner, and
Was that last year? Or
It was
2
years ago, I
that was
think.
2 years ago.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
So I didn't go last year
Anyway. I didn't either.
I don't think you guys did. No.
Okay, so who was
matter.
featured this year?
Yeah. So this year, they had an entire group of Farscape actors. I think there was like 8 different people from Farscape.
Gigi Edley wouldn't leave us alone looking for you.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
like,
they
"Where's
asked him for you."
Todd? Where is he?" And then Claudia Black, we saw, who looked totally different because she's got blonde hair now.
Yes.
But the
I
main
didn't
draw
see-
for me,
What's his face? I didn't see Ben Browder. Did you?
No, but if you remember when we were over in that area, they were all gone. So either they were doing a photo op or a panel or
Yeah,
something.
I didn't notice him. Anyway,
The main draw for me was original Battlestar Galactica cast members, and they had Dirk Benedict, who obviously played Starbuck. They had Lorette, is it Spang or Sprang? I don't.
Lorette Spang.
Spang, who was Cassiopeia on the original show, and then they had oh god, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Noah Hathaway, who was Boxy and was also in the Neverending Story. So I
And they also had Boomer. The guy
oh
who played
right,
Boomer.
and Herb Jefferson was there too, who played Boomer. So and I had already had his autograph, and actually I already had Starbucks autograph too, but decided I wanted to get him to sign my Colonial Viper model, my Eagle Moss Viper. So that was cool. I got Lorette Spang and Noah Hathaway on my Battlestar poster, so now I have 6 original cast members on that, and that was cool. We had a fun conversation with Dirk Benedict, me and Dave.
We did. He was a nice guy. He was great. I mean, there's a guy before us who had like a dozen 16 by 20s or something. These
16 by 20 photos that he printed himself on some high-quality printer.
Of all kinds of stuff. Obscure movies that this guy was in, and close-ups from different shows, and that
with
was a
specific
good
instructions on where he wanted them each signed, and you know, we were just lucky enough to get in line just behind this guy. So I don't know, was it 20 minutes? He was signing this guy's stuff. But when we got up there, I and Dave ended up getting an 8x10 signed by him too, and you know, we were asking him about the different shows he was on, the A-Team and everything, and he I think. Did you ask him specifically which show he enjoyed doing more, or somehow that came up? Which show did you have more fun on the set of?
How did that come up? I don't really remember, because he was talking about working the show. Did I say something? I may have said, was it fun?
Yeah.
Or was there a lot of pressure? Because there's something like that. No. He said something like, it was something about like, who would have ever thought it would be canceled after a year? We didn't. Because I'm like,
I remember exactly how we got there now. Because you said he signs his autograph, and then he writes a star, the shape of a star, and then a $sign for Starbuck. And then he said, I wanted them to put that on the ship, on the side of the ship as my call sign, but I could never get them to do it. And then Dave said something about, well, you could have had a buck head, like a deer head. And then he said, but there's no deer in space. And I said, but they are on Earth. And he said, yeah, but we never got to Earth. They canceled us halfway to Earth. Yeah. That's how we got there.
Yes, yeah. And then I'm like, so I said something like, so he goes, yeah, you know, there's a lot of, I got the sense that they were surprised, but there were a lot of people thinking like, oh my God, this is like the next big thing. And
they were surprised.
Said,
some of the people were surprised. And he said,
he did tell us not to say this.
No, well, I'm not going to say the stuff he said not to say. But really? He did say he was surprised by how some people reacted to their cancellation, and some people were just more difficult to deal with in general on the set than others. But he said the A-Team, by comparison, was like, you know,
he said it was like fun all the time.
A lot of fun.
Well, you basically they shot the same script every week, so
driving cars and blowing up, and
it's like, okay, it's time for BA to cut something up.
I love it when a plan comes together. Can't go wrong. Just throw that line in at the end. It's an episode.
Yep. And
so he was awesome.
Shooting Ruger Mini 14s without actually hitting anyone. So you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that was
cool. He spent a good time talking to us, and it was nice. It was cool.
Yeah, and you know, I don't remember who said it, but you and I both remember hearing somebody had said that he wasn't in good health, but he seemed pretty good.
Yeah, he seemed fine. Looks great. I don't know how old is he? I'll look it up. But
He's got to be
good.
70,
Lorette
right?
Spang looked good too.
Yeah, Lorette Spang looked great. So it was nice to see them and meet them. And then the other the other draw for us was 2 cast members from Alien were there. Tom Skerritt, who, while, we all love him in Alien, we know Dave really loves him from Top Gun.
I talked to him for about 45 minutes about Top Gun. And no, I didn't.
It's like, what does Tom Cruise smell like? Can you just tell me what he smells like?
Yeah, you know what he smells like? Just like happiness.
He smells like money. But so he was there, and was it Veronica?
I talked to him for a couple minutes. I got him to sign an 8x10. And I asked him about it. I'm like, oh, you worked with both Tony and Ridley Scott. Are they similar or different? He said, there's similarities about him, but Ridley, as you would imagine, is a perfectionist. Everything has to be perfect. Tony was not quite that way, and you get that if you look at these movies that they both did. So,
was it Veronica Cartwright? Is that the other person who was there?
Veronica Cartwright,
yes,
not Angela Cartwright,
right? And
she played Lambert in Alien. So
the interesting thing was the night before the convention, I watched Alien with my son Joey. It was the first time he'd ever seen it. So we get to the show, and then, Dave goes and get Tom Skerritt's autograph, and then Joey looks at me and he's like, I think I want an Alien poster, and I think I want them both to sign it. So I was like, okay, early Christmas gift.
And
but
Barry, totally indulging in every single whim that he wants, can't really tell his kid no.
It is hard when you're doing that, but
you can't buy all stuff for yourself and say no.
After you spring for Boxy's signature, there's really no saying no.
No, but, hey, look, I just love the fact that he's as into this stuff as he is, and he's really gotten into movies lately. He's been, writing movie reviews of the movies he sees, and he gave Alien a 5 out of 5. He loved it, so he was excited to meet them, and that was fun. And then, we started talking with Veronica Cartwright, because she was also the little girl in The Birds. And so we were asking her about working with Hitchcock. And she had told us, because I was like, did you know he was Hitchcock? Did you get it? And she said, oh, I had been on 2 episodes of his show. He saw me in something. He asked to meet me and put me in 2 episodes of Alfred Hitchcock Presents and then cast her in The Bird. So she was well aware of who he was. And so that was cool. I didn't even make that connection.
And I had just watched The Birds a week ago. It was on one of the movie channels. Just Dirk Van Dyke is 75. I hope I look like that when I hope I look like that now, let alone 75. and Lorette Spang is 69.
She looks great for 69.
Yeah. So
look, and I like that it's not the same old guests that you see at show after show after show. They have different people, so that was fun.
Yep.
We did a little shopping after that, and Dave bought something odd and unique for you. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, yeah, that's... So there was this guy that Barry was talking to him about. So he had some Star Wars stuff, and this guy had... And I think we've talked about it in the show. He had, a milk crate full of laser discs, and they also had a milk crate full of the RCA Select Division, which was the competitor to the laser disc back in the 80s.
The lesser competitor.
And I guess people are buying these because of the graphics, but I went back and forth at the time. I got him one for Star Trek The Motion Picture. These things are huge. You have one or you don't have any?
I have one, and I thought it was Apocalypse Now, and I looked at it today because it's in a box at work. It's actually Trading Places, so this is much better.
Much better.
They're huge. And
they're
I remember
gigantic.
I knew someone who had that machine.
Yeah.
So I bought Todd the Star Trek The Motion Picture. The guy was selling them for $10 a disc, whatever. Yeah. And Star Trek is 2 discs. And he's like, you want both? I'm like, no, I'm not playing them, so I only bought one. Not only is it 2 discs, you have to flip it over. Yeah. So you literally have to put that thing in,
get up
flip
twice.
it over, and then put another disc in just to watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
But so just for people that don't know, this is a disc, like a laser disc, but it's in a cartridge. So you actually put the cartridge in the machine, and it pulls the disc out.
Right.
I'd like to open one of those things.
Yeah.
You should have bought the second one for $5 just so we could have ripped it apart.
Well, we can tear Trading Places apart. So,
good.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's even a working machine. Out there.
Yeah.
Somewhere,
I think I have Empire on Laserdisc still somewhere.
Yeah.
I sold all my laser discs back when I could actually still get a couple pennies for them.
Yeah, I kept that one.
Yeah.
So
I have Superman and I have Raiders on Laserdisc, and yeah, I have a collection. I mentioned this before. I have a collection of obsolete media, and I basically every media form that exists in a box, and I'm putting together a display in a case at school of all of them. Basically, the pre-digital
reel
world.
to reel.
What's that?
Do you have reel to reel VHS?
Yes. Oh, reel to reel VHS? No, I have reel to reel. Audio tape.
Back in film school, you'd find storerooms full of just crazy shit, and there were Sony reel to reel not VCRs,
Video.
VHS players.
Yeah.
It was VHS format. So it was half inch or 3/4, but maybe it was a reel to reel. These were like gigantic, made of the vinyl covered wood. Remember, these were impressive machines. I wish I took one because they were out of use for like 15 years when I saw them. I used to try to play it, and I didn't have a take-up reel, so I would just play it into the garbage to see, and it was just like barely images still on there.
I have a thing
plus years ago when I worked in a recording.
Wait, stop one at a time.
Yeah,
Barry, go ahead.
I was saying 30 plus years ago when I worked in a recording studio, that was pre-digital. Everything we did audio-wise was on magnetic tape, and we would edit with razors and in blocks and the whole thing. I mean, and I know that was a lot of the way that video was done back in the day too. So,
yeah, I have a big honking cassette that's video that actually almost looks like a scaled up, like cassette tape, but it's like 3 times the thickness of that, and
it's 3/4. Yeah,
it's called 3/4 inch tape.
It's commercials, and it was like spliced together commercials, and basically they would like slide this thing in, and it would play. It was like
there's
5 or 6 commercials in
couple of formats.
Yeah.
There's a bigger one and a smaller one. My student film, I when I would give it to film festivals, I would put them on 3/4.
When I was in school for audio and video production, we would edit on those tapes. We had 2 machines that were synced up with a computer that you could edit with those tapes. And then when I first started in doing video at a cable company, we used to have to encode that off of tapes onto digital.
I have it here. Do you have movies on beta?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there were movies that you could. That's how I saw Alien the first time. I saw it on a beta copy.
So I was just saying while you had walked away, Dave, that when I first started doing digital video, we used to get those analog tapes, and we had this gigantic, incredibly expensive machine that would encode the analog tape and put it into digital format. And now you can do that on an iPhone, or on a laptop.
Yeah.
But back in the day, that was incredibly expensive equipment.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I used to
while
have
we're in
stuff
this
converted
rat hole,
over.
what was the thing that wasn't Blu-ray?
Oh God,
yeah.
HD DVD, wasn't it?
DVD.
Right? It was whose was that?
Not Sony's Blu-ray.
Yep.
That didn't
Ultra
last
H.
long
No, it
at
was.
all.
Anyways,
It was HD DVD. It was called HD DVD.
Yeah.
I just looked it up.
I need one of those too at some point. I thought I had one and I don't. So, but I'm close. I'll have like 25 forms of media in this display. It'll be cool. So.
Crazy.
That is cool. Anyway, that was Wintercon, right? Anything else?
No, like we said last week, it's not something I would recommend people go out of their way to go to. But if you're in the area and you've got a couple hours to kill, it's fun.
And we got tickets on a Groupon for $20. So
yeah,
good.
I
That's
got
good.
2 tickets for
$20 to get in.
So,
Barry, you were right. Rutger Hauer was 2017. 2018 was Sean Austin and nobody else you heard of. So.
right.
Yeah, and we got Todd and I got something there that maybe we'll talk about it on a future show.
Yep.
As a something.
Something that's going to turn into a little bit of a project.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Let's go. What's in the box?
Show you in the box. Who's in the box? Oh, what's in the box? What's in the f***ing box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Todd, what's in the box?
Okay. So I am holding a big slab of sheet metal with Iron Man on it. This is from Herofied. It's the second big metal print that I bought from them. I ordered this at Rhode Island Comic-Con.
Rhode Island.
And it came in the mail the other day. It's really nice. This is one, they kind of made this as a set. They've got Cap on one side and then Iron Man on the other. And I'm tempted to buy the Cap as well because they're facing each other. Looks really cool. But I wanted Iron Man anyways for my Iron Man shrine. Looks really cool, and I'll post some pictures online. So, and now that we've done this,
prints.
I can actually hang it up. So, good.
Those metal
Thank you.
prints
Metal
are
prints are
really,
awesome.
really impressive.
Yeah, he does a fantastic job, and if you light it right, it's amazing. So,
Yeah, it's just they look different than anything else. But I will say, I did buy. Did we talk about this? I bought the Enterprise one and the Millennium Falcon. I put them in those frameless frames that just have the clips. Once you put a piece of glass over them, they look pretty good. Obviously, not as good as the metal, but for $30, obviously not everyone wants to spend that kind of money. But for $30, those really look good.
Yeah, they do.
So check out this site, HeroFi.com.
Yep.
They have a ton of cool stuff on there.
Yes.
Because you go to conventions these days, and I'd say there's 50 plus people making art. Because it's interesting, because even at this WonderCon, the price of printing these days is dramatically cheaper.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
There's a guy who makes his own posters and reprints posters and makes those 11 by 17 posters. You get a poster for $20, a free 11 by 17 little mini poster, and one of those sort of plastic things you put pictures in. Those things cost $3. So
Well,
and,
and that's for if you so for that we bought Joey's Alien poster from this guy. If you get a full size poster, he gives you a free mini poster with the plastic holder. If you buy 2 mini posters for $10, you get 2 free. So you're getting four mini posters.
Yeah, they cost him nothing. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
they're
great.
costing him nothing
So-
to print.
But anyways, but you'll look through all these people doing either their own artwork or stealing artwork and making prints. 99% of them kind of suck. We've found maybe 3 or 4 over the years that are good, but Herofied is sort of a whole
Herofied is like a whole
realm.
other.
Yeah. And there's people
They're the
imitating
gold
what he does
standard.
now, but it's great. He does
No
a great
one's-
job with
no
it.
one's
and
copied what
I
he
don't
does.
mind spending
Yeah,
money
they're the
on
gold
it.
standard. So,
Yeah.
it's talking, and, sorry to keep bringing it back to my kid, but one of the things Joey bought, which I thought was cool, you talk about cheap printing, somebody made an 11 by 17 print of the photo from the end of The Shining from the Overlook Hotel, that like photo that was hanging in the bar, the black and white photo. And another movie Joey had recently watched was The Shining, and he decided he wanted that. So that, he got that for $10, which wasn't bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Todd asked
Dave,
someone,
what's in the
who
box?
else?
Sorry, I thought we'd already moved on. Okay. Yeah.
This may make some people angry or jealous.
Or both.
Oh, sweet.
I'm holding up the communicator from the Star Trek pilot, The Cage, and this is not a replica. This is the original. No.
Yeah. Sure.
When we were at the show, remember, I don't know, Brian mentioned he knew a guy who had some. He didn't really know him, but I'm like, hey, send me his number. I'd be interested. So I've been going back and forth with this guy, and he makes these, and this is one of them. It's pretty good. I mean,
we've been talking about this for a long time, and we've been talking about maybe making one, and we were talking about the fact that because it's cast in clear resin, right?
I'll tell you right now, we're not making this.
No, I'm looking at it.
really
I don't think that's anything that. Yeah.
So beyond me. I mean, it looks like he's got the right thing in here. This looks right. I have no other reference. I mean,
hold it. Well, I want to see the grid. Oh, boy, that's nice. That is nice.
The grid is really nice. I got to say, there's no bubbles in it. I think you could probably spend a few hours polishing this thing because there's some scratches, but it's
that's
there's
beautiful.
no
Dave.
bubbles. I think he's makes a bunch, so I think you guys can get them if you want them.
No,
I'll tell you off the air how much.
Yeah,
they
we'll
are.
have to talk about that one once we shut the recorder off.
But I feel like it definitely could have been polished better, but it's fine.
I've got
I
that
guarantee
Novus
the original
acrylic polish stuff. If you want to, next time I see you, I can bring it with me.
I have the Novus stuff.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Too.
Yeah,
I have that. But I think this has been clear coated too. But honestly, for this to be the way it's sitting on the shelf, it's perfectly fine. He did a really nice job with it. So
the fact that it's not pristinely polished probably actually looks more like what it would have looked like on the show.
God,
You
yes.
think the thing on the air in the 70s? I mean, they had coffee stains all over their shirts, and you couldn't see on your 10-inch black and white television. So I'm sure it's fine. So happy to have that. Barry, what's in the box?
Another vintage Star Wars toy. This is the Imperial Troop Transport vehicle.
Oh yeah.
That's very much how actual troops would transport
Exactly.
themselves.
Well, what's interesting is that it's a troop transport, so you'd think that they would just be for transporting stormtroopers, but they give you these restraints for prisoners, too. So I've got one on Princess Leia's head, as you can see in the video there. It's a cool vehicle, though. It's got doors that open on the sides, and you can put a driver on each side. This red cover is actually a battery cover. There are red buttons on top, and this is a really complex mechanism on the inside. It's one of those like record mechanisms that if it were working, which it's not, when you push down on each one of these, it would play a track on the record.
Oh, wow.
I have watched videos of people repairing these, and it is not easy, but I may rip it apart and actually try to get it working. Most of the videos I've watched, it's just that the motor seizes up from not being used, and if you can get the motor going, and as long as the electronic compartments are clean,
same
it
with
works.
fixing the Joe Talker thing. I mean, those are fixable.
Yeah, so the unit itself is self-contained, though, so you have to get the whole thing apart and pull the unit out, and as long as the belt is okay, it seems like people can get them to work again. If you've got to replace the belt, once you open the unit, it's like a clockwork where everything comes out. But it's a cool little vehicle, though, and the back door opens. There's a storage compartment back here. I mean, it's a made-up vehicle. It's one of the first things that Kenner ever said, well, let's design something that looks like it might have been used in the movie, but it wasn't.
Barry, I can't remember the scene that was in, but I'm sure.
It's like one of those, it was just off camera in a hangar somewhere. But
it was actually used to transport extras to and from this set. So
exactly.
That's exactly. It looks like a golf cart. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. I'll take some pictures of it. I may use the Christmas break to try to get it working. We'll see.
Cool.
But that's what's in the box.
Interesting. Okie dokie. Any last thoughts? This is where there'll be none.
No, not this week.
Crickets.
Okay.
Watch The Mandalorian.
Here's the last thoughts. Go to Fanboy Collectibles to buy some Christmas gifts for somebody. Go check out Herofied. Not a paid endorsement, but they're awesome.
They are.
Yeah, we like those guys a lot.
And or save your money for the Baby Yoda products that for sure are coming.
Are supposed to be hitting before Christmas.
Yep. Oh my God!
That's what I
I'll
heard.
have to hit up the Disney stores right up the street.
Yep.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
This is the way.